I always used to say that WrestleMania 30 is one of my favorite WrestleManias ever. I mean, Daniel Bryan overcame the Authority. The Undertaker's streak ended and the world stopped spinning for a minute. But now, why did you count to 3? Dumbass ref with his dumbass hands? Get your hands fixed. You see? No music playing. That wasn't supposed to happen. What in the actual fuck? I can't even describe how shocked I was. I can. That, pretty much. Or this. Or that. Or this, or that. But every wrestling fan remembers where they were when the Undertaker's streak ended. Even though I watched WrestleMania 30 the next day, thankfully I didn't see any spoilers, and I almost hit my head on the monitor. Imagine running to the toilet and you hear that 3 count while taking a shit. I missed that. And I watched the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? Dude, I would never forgive myself. The bad thing about WrestleMania 30 is that it aged horribly. Most of it is out of WWE's control. But just 10 years later, we can barely even talk about this WrestleMania and the legendary Undertaker's streak. Hate to say it, but it's almost getting erased from history. Now, what that mean, Great One? Let me ask you a question. Who beat the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak? Exactly. Roman Reigns. So I decided to rewatch WrestleMania 30 after suffering from 27, thanks for that. And is it as good as I remember? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about WrestleMania 30. So Hulk Hogan was the host of WrestleMania 30, and everybody remembers that because he called Superdome the Silver Dome like multiple times, and people booed to the point where Hulk Hogan was like, "Well, let me tell you something, brother. I completely fucked up. And honestly, brother, it's not even my fault. It's these back issues. They're fucking killing me." Again, this is a bunch of nothing, but the fact that we got so many big stars kinda makes it memorable, and I think they did a great job. I mean, we got Stone Cold Steve Austin, we got The Rock, just different eras of faces of the company, and the only man missing was John Cena at that point, but he was wrestling Bray Wyatt at this pay-per-view. I forgot how good Daniel Bryan versus Triple H was. It really reminds me of WrestleMania 40's main event, because at WrestleMania 40, this match decides what's gonna happen in the other main event. Now, back in the day, we didn't have 2 nights of WrestleMania, but basically the winner of this match is going to be in a triple threat match for the WWE Undisputed Championship in the main event against Randy Orton and Batista. And honestly, I forgot how long this match was. Like, if you asked me about this, I was like, okay, yeah, that was like a 4-minute match and Daniel Bryan overcame Authority. I mean, he was already injured. But that wasn't the case. This was a pretty long match and honestly, a good one. Now, very predictable, of course. You're not gonna see this match in the main event. Even though as a huge Evolution fan, I wouldn't mind, but come on. As you know, Daniel Bryan won the match and got a huge pop out of it. After the match, Triple H attacks Daniel Bryan. And that's the thing about this whole Daniel Bryan story at WrestleMania 30. Like, it was overbooked to the bone. But in a very good way. And I hope we see something like that at WrestleMania 40. And just a visual of Daniel Bryan all injured, you know, still fighting for that opportunity for the fans. Love to see it, man. Love to see it. Very good match. But there is a problem with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, and it's something that Batista had a problem with, and I completely agree. I'll talk about that in the main event. During the show, we got a bunch of legends. Of course, it's WrestleMania 30. And it was so cool watching now because when I was a kid, I didn't understand shit. How old I was? 14, I guess. I knew who these people are, but I didn't understand it completely. For example, this is a WrestleMania 1 main event, and after 30 years they were like, yeah, we can bury the hatchet. Sometimes these kind of segments can be really cringy, but I really like them. The Shield versus New Age Outlaws and Kane. This was a very short match just to show you the Shield are dominant. Look at how strong the Shield is. Look at our future. And it's like, yeah, I get that. It was a fun moment, but why? Like, honestly, why? The New Age Outlaws and Kane? When you have this great roster that most of competed in the Battle Royal? Oh man, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Speaking of aging poorly, look at the amount of talent we have in this match. And look, I don't think everybody needs to be at WrestleMania. Thankfully, we have, 2 nights of WrestleMania now, so most superstars will be. I don't think everyone needs to be at WrestleMania, but I would rather see like a 6-man tag team match or whatever when it comes to, the story, if it makes sense, than just this. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is just absolutely suck. If I gotta say anything positive though, this was the best Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match. I mean, Cesaro with that Andre the Giant spot, basically, he won the match, and oh my god, he's getting a huge push. Speaking of aging poorly, nobody did. Nobody who won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, who got to hold that gigantic trophy, did anything. You know, they got short pushes for a month or two, but it doesn't mean shit, and I'm just surprised that WWE are still doing these matches. It doesn't mean anything. But back in the day, it did feel like a big moment, right? John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, a lot better than I remember. Again, a pretty long match, and I guess the reason why I thought this match kinda sucked is because I was kinda pissed about the result. Obviously, during that time, we thought that, you know, they're burying Bray Wyatt's character. This was really good, and may I say, one of the best Bray Wyatt matches ever. They did a really great job with this one because a lot of people had a problem with Bray Wyatt's, you know, I don't want to say cinematic matches, maybe supernatural matches, and this one didn't really have that. It was just a good Bray Wyatt match, and a bit of a reminder how great of a wrestler he actually was. And, you know, I gotta tell you, it was really hard watching this because before watching this, I saw the Bray Wyatt documentary, and, you know, it just hits you. Obviously, Luke Harper was, you know, ringside. I like this match because it told a story that made sense for Bray Wyatt without all the, you know, special effects or anything like that. He just told that story in the ring with his face, with his movement. Now, as you know, John Cena won the match, and I was pissed. I remember being like, oh, come on. And I remember during the time I really did not like John Cena. It took me like a couple of more years to actually appreciate him. But I believe that was not their last match. We got Extreme Rules, we got another one maybe, and at the end of the day, it kinda worked. Bray Wyatt was the ultimate heel, John Cena was the Superman. That was another really good match on the show. What surprised me about this Mania though is that we didn't get that many matches. Like, by today's standards, it's kinda crazy. The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. So this one is interesting because, again, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing. I thought this match was a lot worse. I've seen the final moments 1,000 times. Every year at least once, obviously. The thing is though, people are talking about this match as if it's a really bad Undertaker match, and I can see that the Undertaker is not the same Undertaker I watched at WrestleMania 28, and yes, the Undertaker got concussed in this match, but people are talking about this match and saying, oh, this match was sucked, this was a bad match, but we got this big ending. I don't think so. I think the match was just fine. And when I was a kid, I remember watching this match so casually. Hey man, what do you think is gonna win? Oh, it's The Undertaker. Like, you don't even need to watch that one, whatever. Get a drink, take a shit, whatever. Doesn't matter. So I'm watching this match. We got some near falls, and it's actually kinda decent, you know, by The Undertaker standards at this age. And again, I'm watching this, I'm expecting a bad match, but it was fine. It wasn't great. It was fine. Now, of course, this is a legendary moment. Couldn't believe what happened. Nobody in the audience could believe what just happened. And yes, the intro I did is legit. I was like, this is a fluke. This was not supposed to happen. That's why we're not hearing music. Something went wrong. They're gonna restart the match. Somebody cheated. Maybe it was a, you know, quick count. I don't know. It simply can't be happening. But I believe to this day, this is the most shocking wrestling moment, and I don't think anything can actually beat that. Like, again, going into this match, you're like, obviously The Undertaker is winning. Obviously. What sucks about it the most is that, you know, you can say it was a right call, wrong call. I don't know. I would say it was the wrong call. At the end of the day, this is a moment I'll be rewatching till the day I die, right? When it comes to wrestling. The thing that sucks about this victory the most is that WWE can't even talk about it anymore. WWE don't want to mention Brock Lesnar anymore, and it just kinda sucks. It really does. This is the most legendary streak in professional wrestling. Sorry, Goldberg. And WWE can barely acknowledge that. Yes, he had this tremendous streak at WrestleMania. It ended. And then Roman won. But man, talking about WrestleMania moments. WWE have a funny way of doing things. We have this amazing moment. You know, People are not gonna be into the next shit we do. Let's put some women in this match, of course, a bunch of women, because that's what we do. I can't even describe how silent the crowd was, like nobody gave a shit. These women tried, but, and while the match is happening, people are just probably looking at each other. Man, the Undertaker's streak, come on. The Undertaker's streak, how could that even happen? AJ Lee won the match, nobody gave a shit. I was a big fan of AJ, by the way, but come on, this is almost disrespectful. How can you follow that? And I remember watching this Mania, and even during the main event, I'm watching Daniel Bryan's story concluding, and I'm like, man, the Undertaker, really? So, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's time for Randy Batista and Daniel Bryan Undisputed Championship. This was a very, very good match. Very fun and overbooked in the best way possible. Of course, we got this crazy ass spot that could have ended a lot worse, and it's overbooked to the bone, but I loved it. In the end, it was Daniel Bryan who picked up the W. Everything is right in the world. We got Connor, which, you know, watching now is just so sad, man. I don't cry a lot during wrestling, but that one Connor video, you know, tribute to Connor, that one always gets me. But this was a beautiful moment, a celebration, so everything is right. But Batista had a problem with this match, and I gotta agree. Batista said he's fine putting over Daniel Bryan, but in return, you gotta give something. You gotta give something. Like, Daniel Bryan was injured before WrestleMania, they beat the shit out of Bryan during WrestleMania, and then he's like, I feel fine. I feel fine. Next night on Raw, he feels fine. He didn't sell shit. And that's something I have a problem in professional wrestling. Just sell. Speaking of aging horribly, Daniel Bryan straight away went into a rivalry against Kane, got injured and had to relinquish the championships. Come on. So in short, is this WrestleMania as good as I remember? Honestly, when it comes to the matches, better than I remember, but it had a problem of, instead of having two more great matches, to make this WrestleMania feel a bit more full, because it feels like we didn't get enough. That's the feeling I got. Let's just have a couple of battle royals that nobody gives a shit about. Instead of that, we could have gotten like a one good match, two good matches, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, comparing to everything we got, I gave WrestleMania 27 4 out of 10. I gotta give this one 7 out of 10. I think it was really, really good. But thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe if you already didn't. Really helps me out. The Great One. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.